Hello, I'm William Gallagher and this is 58 Keys, which as ever, as always, is for writers. Writers like you and me who use and you write on, well, Macs and iPhones and iPads, but particularly today, Macs, and actually particularly now the Macs Finder. Apple has worked on this Finder for 42 years and you just skip past it to open Pages or Word and get on with writing. You know, you've seen YouTube videos with titles like 15 things you never knew about quantum mechanics, number 7 will blow your mind. Yeah. This is 5 things about the Macs Finder that I didn't know. 10 hours a day writing, decades now in front of Macs, and I did not know these things that are really useful. Hopefully you'll find them as useful as I now have, although actually thinking about it, if you already knew them all, well then you could have told me, couldn't you? First up is the last thing you did. If you right click on the Finder icon in your dock, you get a pop-up list of recent folders you've used. I had no idea. Something though related that I did know, every Finder window, unless you've been fiddling, has a recent section. It shows recent documents that you've opened. So you can get folders from the dock icon, documents from the recent bit of the window. Or you can choose the Apple menu, select recents from there, and in that you will see, well, recent folders, recent documents, and recent applications too. Next, I tend to use the list view in the Finder, although actually by clicking here or pressing Command 1, 2, 3 or 4 you can quickly skip between the different views and they all have their benefits and advantages, but in list view you see more. And you have these columns. Click on any column to sort the files in the folder by that column. Click again and the sorting is reversed. Okay. And you can drag columns about. Just click and drag in the header, move it about left or right as you need. And if you right click on a column header, you get this pop-up showing you the list of possible columns you can have. So you tick what you want or untick what you don't. Then if you click and drag on the dividing line between columns, well, you can widen or narrow that column so you see as much as you want to. Okay, I do all of that, like all of that, but I didn't know until looking into this to talk to you about it, is that you can put your cursor on that dividing line between columns and double click. It then expands the column to fit whatever's inside it. So if you have particularly long file names, for instance, the column will resize to the width of the longest. And I said just then that there was a recents bit in every Finder window and said it was there unless you fiddled. It's in the sidebar, and oh, can you fiddle with the sidebar so much. Drag items up and down, drag folders into it, drag folders out of it to remove them. I do this a lot. I mean, there, for example, there's my 58 Keys folder. Here's a client one. Anything in this sidebar, all it is a shortcut to where these things are, but these particular things are folders I use a lot, so click, I'm there. Love it. What I now also love, and really had no idea about, is that as well as dragging folders to the sidebar, you can put applications in there. Go to your applications folder. Well, actually, I'll tell you what, while you're anywhere in the Finder, press Command-Shift-A for applications, and boom, you're right there. Now, hold down the Command key and drag any app you like over to somewhere on the sidebar. Now that application will be a click away for you in every Finder window you ever open. You can do the same with documents too, so you can put your novel there. Command-Shift-O opens the documents folder, and then you can command drag a document into the sidebar, and again, it's there forever, or until you choose to drag it out of the sidebar and let go. Plus, making me wonder what I do all day at my Mac instead of fiddling. Be nice to think it was writing. I've also learned that you can do this, the dragging applications or dragging documents, not just to the sidebar, but up into the toolbar. I mean, it's cute. I think it's less useful because the toolbar hasn't got a lot of space. And actually, as you resize the window, you lose sight of some of what's there anyway. But you can do it. And I love that I've now found out this bit. Okay. Next, Boolean searches, the and or not type of search in the Finder window. First thing I already knew, but you may not have spent a lot of time on, especially if you were doing so a while ago, because I don't think this hasn't always been brilliantly designed. In any Finder window, right, click in the search box. If the window has been resized and is now too small for you to get a proper search box, you get a magnifying glass icon. Click on that icon and you get the search box. Or actually you could just press Command F to do it. Type something to search for, and as you do, you get these options, things like name contained or content contained. It's amazing, it'll look inside documents for you, and potentially more. This now works as you type. Previously, you had to type your search and then somehow know to press the space bar, and then the Mac would offer you these options. The thing is, sometimes, I mean, that put people off, they didn't know about it, put me off, but sometimes it still seems to want you to wait for a space bar press. And I can't see a pattern, but you know, if you're not seeing name contains or whatever, well, tap the space bar, see what happens. Now, a small part of this that I didn't know, when you do a search like this, you also get the option for searching this Mac or whatever the current folder is. I am forever selecting the current folder. I've got so far, I want to narrow it down a bit further, but it turns out I needn't bother, because if you open the Finder menu, choose Settings and then click on Advanced, or then right there at the bottom, there's an option. When performing a search, set that to this Mac or to the current folder, whichever you like. There is also that last option, use the previous search scope. What that means, if the last time you did a search, right, well then you clicked on this Mac, well then next time you do a search, that's what will be default, or vice versa. But actually, saying this to you, this is so far away from the only possible things you can do to narrow down your search. There's so much more. And one I knew was that you can click that plus button and add a filter. Kind is image, for example. You only want to see images, the Mac will find them, whether they're JPEG or PNG or TIFF, whatever, it'll find them all. There are lots of ways in here to narrow down the search, from kind to the really useful last modified date. When I need to go back to a draft or a document that I was working on the other day, well, actually, that's how I can quickly find it. But there's still a plus button. There's another plus button. Press that, and you can add another line of filter and another and another. So you can end up having kind is image, last modified date is within the last, I don't know, 3 days, and you can have other. Choose other, and you have a stunning number of options to filter your search by, like size. Or actually, the one I use, let's go back a little bit to the kind option. If you choose kind and then under there choose other, you can start typing in the name of an application. So for example, I will type in Omni Outliner and I will only see Omni Outliner documents returned, and I have a lot of them, so it's very helpful. And then finally, for this section, the bit that surprised me out of the blue, this one was, let me clear all this out and start again. Say you do a search for Peregrine for some reason. Yeah, do that, then click the plus to start a filter. But before you bother with any filters, hold down the Option key as you again click the next plus, and you get a Boolean search filter. You can now say you want to search for all of these things. An image that is older than 3 days, or is tagged green, or is bigger than 2 gigabytes. Any or all. You can slep through this. And actually, if you slep through a complex search like this, and then another last bit, save the search. You're going to need it again. Save it. Click on the Save button, and you're creating a smart folder. Decide where to put it on your Mac that you'll find it. Click Save, and now whenever you find it and open that folder, it will show you all of the documents and files that fit that complicated search you did. Always, automatically, constantly refreshed. So you could, for example, have one single folder on your desktop that just has every PDF you have. Those PDFs remain scattered across your Mac, but you can see them all in this one spot. Fantastic. Last thing I now know that I didn't know. As it happens, I tend to use tabs instead of whole new windows, but still from time to time I will end up with a screen full of windows for all sorts of reasons. When you have several windows open on the desktop, you can go to the window menu and there'll be an option called Merge All Windows. And now you end up with one window with tabs for each of the others you had open. That's another of these things that I think, I mean, as small as it is, I'm now using all the time. They are really useful. And there are more. I know there are more. And actually, no doubt, we're going to come back to this in a future 58 keys video. But in the meantime, if you know something that you feel is, well, like me, you didn't know before, was a little hidden about the fun that everyone should know, please picture me waiting here for you to tell me. And for now, that's it for this edition of 58 Keys. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourself. It's important. Write more. It's important, and I'll see you soon.